Welcome back. Lyle was in town for a couple of days after the symposium, so I invited him over to the shop and he taught me how to make this little coffee scoop using a waste block, just for a simple little jam chuck jig. I want to thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it and giving me a lot of tips.
Thank you, Carl. It's been great being here and nice to connect with you at the symposium. The symposium was great, and we're going to do a little project here that's a little complex with multi-axis and a jam chuck and everything, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, let's get started. The wood shop is sponsored by ChefwareKits and Easy Wood Tools. All right, we have a piece of maple here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the ball down on this end and then we'll work on the handle. I'm just going to go pretty quick through shaping the spoon. I'm just making a ball on one end and then turning the handle, and then I'm going to let Lyle take over and show you how to make this little jam chuck. Now that we have the ball done, I'm going to go ahead and put a tenon down in the end so I can grab it in the chuck and finish that and work on the handle. Sanded it up to 600. I'm just going to go ahead and part this off and then I'm going to turn it over to Lyle.
First thing we're going to do is make a true jam chuck. We're going to take a piece of 2x4 size wood here and make a tenon on it so that we can hold it, and then we're going to reverse it to make a jam chuck that'll fit the ball of the scoop. So we need to just put this on between centers and get a good grip on it to make the tenon for the chuck. Taper that is it. That looks like that'll work. So I have to have it more than twice as deep.
Oh, okay.
So that I don't bottom out. So I gotta get that out of there a little bit. Okay, I want to check my taper. I want to make sure I'm about a 3-degree taper. And so I'm going to put a straight edge on the surface and sight down here to the bed of the lathe. And I'm more than 3 degrees here, so I'm going to have to hollow that out a little bit more to straighten that out a little bit. I've got too much of a cone shape there now. There we go. It's just starting to fit at the rim, so now I'm going to taper that down, hopefully so that it'll jam in there nice and tight. What I'm doing there is sighting right down the bevel and hopefully keeping that bevel on that straight line. Make a nice taper. Nope, I'm hitting the bottom, so I'm too much of a taper. I gotta get some of the bottom out. get it in there good. Good and solid. If my taper is correct, it's going to have a good solid grip on it. Okay. And let's turn the speed down first just to double check, see where we're at. Running true here. It's wobbling a little bit over here because of the ball's not quite a sphere, but that's okay. We'll leave the wall thickness a little bit thicker so it'll compensate for the wobble. Okay. Now this is driving with just the friction, so I want to make small cuts and light cuts, not tax this too much. Now this is just really aesthetics, how much of a hole we want here. We could go down further and get closer to the handle, make it a bigger hole and a smaller scoop, or deeper scoop and a smaller hole, so it's just a matter of what looks good to you. I'm going to take a little bit more off of there. I'm going to drill an entry hole, so I'm going to make a cone-shaped surface here, just with any sharp tool, any pointed tool. Happens to have a skew handy here, so I'm going to make a little cone so that when I start my drill hole, the drill will self-center itself. Okay, we're going to start up with a little entry hole that just helps it easier in hollowing. The drill is not a depth gauge. I don't use it to go all the way to the bottom. I just use it part way. So I'll turn the speed down a little bit and drill it. In this case by hand. If you have a Jacobson chuck or something in the tailstock, works fine. There we go. That little cone helps get the drill to start in the middle. It's always going to wander. It's going to take the path of least resistance. So the drill hole will never be perfectly running true, but we get it started here. Okay, we're going to set the boring bar up so that it's not going to get a catch. It's everything is stabilized here, and in order to cut right dead on center or above, never below, I'm going to set the front tool rest at the right height so we can cut just a hair above center, and then we're going to hollow it out. I'm taking relatively light, shallow cuts on this because I'm just holding there with the friction drive of the jam chuck, so I can't be real aggressive with it with any tools in here. Okay, I've got that mass of the center out of it. Now I need to get more precision. We're going to put the laser on and start to measure the wall, and then I can tell where the bottom is and everything with the laser a lot better than I can just guessing. So I'm going to use a card to set up the laser, and we're going to set the laser so that if there's a gap, the gap is going to be my wall thickness, and the gap between the laser and the cutter is going to be my measuring device. It's just like a little caliper on steroids, I guess, whatever. The gap is my caliper, and I'm going to set it just inside the line, so the distance between the cutter and the caliper is probably just about 1/8 of an inch. All right, tighten it down, double check it. Okay, and then when we're working in there, we're not blind anymore. We can see where we're at. The laser dot shows you our depth and the shape of the inside. And when we start to when we start to measure the wall thickness. It's going to be a little bit jumpy because of the intermittent air spaces of the goblet that's not perfectly round, but we're just going to make it disappear here. Well, there, when it disappears, I stop cutting. See how it gets elongated? That says slow down, I'm getting close. When it disappears, we stop. Clean up the tool mark, go on and measure some more. See that?
Yeah.
That all of a sudden the laser gets straight because it's shining on the waste wood of the jam chuck. Okay? Yeah. But when it's here, it's bent. You see it stops, the bottom's not there.
Right.
Can you see it?
Yep.
And from here, now the bottom is there, that means that the gap is measuring the wall thickness accurately. Okay? Once the bottom shows up, okay? The top's going to be there all the time because of the jam chuck wood. But once it skips off the edge of the goblet and shines below, down here, then I know I'm at the wall thickness. Okay? And now even with the lathe off, we can see that the inside is right here. You see the pencil line on the camera? Right, just on this side of the laser is where the cutter is, so that's where my depth is. And there's the drill hole. Okay, so we can see what's going on in there in the bottom by just watching the laser. And now we're going to make the laser disappear in the bottom. Going to make it fall off the bottom. You see the laser's falling off the bottom. See, there it's on. It's falling off the bottom there. So I've got my depth in the middle done. All I'm going to do is just clean that up, make a nice sweeping arc into this sidewall. Now, the laser's not set for the sidewall, so I don't want to cut over there. I just want to make a nice clean shape. If we're going to stick our fingers in here and sand, we don't want to have to sand a whole bunch of tool marks and stuff, so keep it nice and clean.
Alright, there we go. I want to thank Lyle again for stopping by and giving me a bunch of great pointers, not only on this, but some other stuff too. I really appreciate it. And anytime you're in town...
Well, thank you. It's been great fun, and it's nice to rub elbows with the famous YouTube personality here. No, it was great. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming over, and really, I appreciate it. Alright, if you haven't been to Lyle's channel yet, go check it out. I'll put a link down below in the description. It's been a while since he put a video up, but maybe if you guys start hounding him, I'll start putting them up again. Alright?
One's in the works.
Alright, take care. Again, I want to thank Lyle for stopping by. He spent the whole day in the shop with me. I really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun and a lot of great tips too. I'll put the link down below to his website and his YouTube channel if you want to go check that out. Alright, I did the AEW Symposium drawing last night. I had 47 entries for that. Thanks everybody for entering. And drum roll here, George Jones won. Congratulations, George. I hope you enjoy this show. Alright, as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.